Right. What should we watch? Right. Hello, it's me again. Today I want to talk about Disney again. And today specifically about Disney sequels, the direct to DVD Disney sequels. I mean, people talk about that all the time because of the quality and also because Disney produced so many Disney remakes. They try to compare the Disney remakes with the Disney direct to DVD or direct to video sequels that was they were popular in the 90s and the early 2000s during the booming physical media market, and Disney were trying to capitalize on the success of their theatrical release movies. And just like a lot of people, I do think that those Disney sequels, the direct to DVD Disney sequels, they're not really necessary and they're not good. I mean, if I to choose between the Disney sequels and the original, of course, I prefer the original. And sometimes the sequels they do degrade something, the value of the original. Like they alter something that I don't think it's the good thing for the original movie. So I think today I'm going to um, take a look at my collection and pick some Disney sequels that I do enjoy and Disney sequels that I absolutely hate. There are people out there who absolutely hate all of the Disney sequels, but I think because I grew up watching those Disney sequels, I got a soft spot for those Disney sequels. And frankly, I do enjoy the Disney sequels a lot more than the Disney remakes. I mean, compared to, let's say, the Little Mermaid remake and also the Lion King remake, I do enjoy the sequels more than the remake. So perhaps now we're going to take a look at the remakes that I absolutely hate. Let's start from the one that I think is probably the worst Disney sequel out there. It's Tarzan and Jane. This is supposed to be the second movie of Tarzan, and I really, really love the first Tarzan. It's the movie that I grew up with because I do remember vividly when Tarzan was brand new in 1999. I was in kindergarten. That is the first ever movie that I could ever remember brand new in theaters. I do not have any recollection of movies released prior to that when they were new. So I couldn't remember when Mulan was new. I was already born, but of course, I was too young to remember that. And so the first one that I vividly remember that it was brand new was Tarzan. So I really, really love that movie, Tarzan. But the sequel is just a terrible cash grab. I can see that they really try to maximize, to capitalize the tape market at the time. So they released Tarzan and Jane. It's just like the formula of Disney sequels that they just release a bunch of episodes from the unreleased television program to the tape and just slap the title Tarzan and Jane. And here we are with Tarzan and Jane. This is just a terrible movie. Not just in terms of story, the story is just awful, but not only in terms of story, but in terms of animation, the movement is just awful. The anatomy of the characters just all wrong. The background, the color, the voice casting, they're not as good as the original. Of course, the budget was just cut down a lot because this was meant to be a TV episodes. But even for a TV episode, I don't think it's a very very good entry. So yeah, it's a terrible Disney sequel, direct to a video sequel, much much worse than Tarzan 2, which was I think released in 2005 or 6. That's a lot better than Tarzan and Jane. So far, this is the worst in the Disney direct to DVD line. Now what else? I'm sorry because I do have those Disney movies on different formats, and perhaps I have the other one that I hate in a different format. Most of them, I think, on video CD, because I do not bother to upgrade the video CDs to DVD and then to Blu-ray. But I think the second that I hate the most is Belle's Magical World. I think it's supposed to be in here somewhere. Yep. There it is. Beauty and the Beast, Belle's Magical World. That is the second worst, or perhaps the first. I can't really remember, because I do remember sitting down watching Tarzan and Jane from start to finish. It was annoying, but I watched that. But Belle's Magical World is a whole lot new level of even worse than that. So I'm going to revise my opinion that Tarzan and Jane is not my pick for the ultimate worst Disney direct-to-DVD sequel, but that is Belle's Magical World. It's just the animation for this one is also terrible, a lot worse than Tarzan and Jane, and of course a lot worse than Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. I can still bear to watch that one, but not this Belle's Magical World. But this one is just like that Tarzan and Jane VHS. It's just a bunch of episodes that were meant to be, aired for the television, but never released on the television, never aired. So they just release those a bunch of episodes. How many episodes here? It doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't say how many episodes inside. It just it just present to you as a movie, as a feature length. It looks like it's a feature length. They try to put together these movies, these episodes. I can't remember with Belle's Magical World, but with Tarzan and Jane, they did add some sort of a bridge between each episode. So they created this, I don't know, a big storyline to put together these different episodes that won't really make any sense as a whole, as a complete feature-length animation. I'm not sure if they did that also with Belle's Magical World, but I remember it just so bad that I don't think I could finish watching this one in my first attempt to watch this one. And looking back, I would watch anything created by Disney, but it's just that bad, so I couldn't really finish watching Belle's Magical World. So this is terrible. If they never greenlit the movie for television, it's probably very, very bad quality and should never be released to the public in any format. So that is another terrible Disney direct-to-DVD movie. Now, another one that I really, really hate is the sequel to the classic movie, that is Cinderella. And the title is Cinderella 2. This one is better than Belle's Magical World and Tarzan and Jane, but still it is a terrible movie, and it uses the same formula as the previous movies that I mentioned, Tarzan and Jane and Belle's Magical World, that it's just a couples of episodes, unrelated really, but they're just trying to make this one as a whole motion picture, a complete motion picture. So they do not list the episodes on the DVD because they were trying to sell this one as a movie. This is a sequel, the sequel to the 1950 classic Cinderella, which is such a massive letdown. And after watching Cinderella 3, which is a rather decent Disney sequel, it's among the best Disney direct-to-DVD sequels, I do think that this one could be a good bonus, quote-unquote, bonus episode for Cinderella after Cinderella 3. So Cinderella 3 should really be Cinderella 2, and this one should be perhaps Cinderella 3 looking at the life of Cinderella after what happened in Cinderella 3. So this would be a good bonus features to Cinderella 3, a good supplementary material for Cinderella 3, but not as a standalone like Cinderella 2 as the direct sequel to the Walt Disney classic Cinderella. This is just a terrible movie for that. And then we still have the same trend, that is putting together several unrelated episodes and sell it as a feature length. That is the sequel to Atlantis. I have this one on Blu-ray, and thankfully they bundled this on the first Atlantis. I'm not sure if I would upgrade my previous. I don't think, do I have this one on video CD or DVD? But if I do, I don't think I would want to upgrade that to Blu-ray, but they bundled this one with the original Atlantis, so that is fine. Atlantis 2, Milo's Return. This one uses the same formula as Tarzan and Jane and Belle's Magical World and Cinderella 2. Basically, multiple stories that try to tie those stories together as one. But the animation and a lot of the aspect for Milo's Return is better than Tarzan and Jane and then what's that? Belle's Magical World. But this one is perhaps on the same level as Cinderella 2 in terms of animation technique. So the value for this one is higher, much higher than Tarzan and Jane and Belle's Magical World. But still, I do not like it. It's one of the worst. What else do I consider as the worst Disney direct-to DVD sequels? Well, I think perhaps the second Aladdin movie, which was the start of the entire direct-to-DVD or direct-to-video at that time, because DVD did not exist at that time. Really? Yeah, I don't think DVD exists during the release of the second Aladdin, which I do have the video CD, but it is down there, and I don't want to try to just find that one. It would be a lot of work. So just going to talk about that one, the second Aladdin, which is, I think, Jafar's Return, if I'm not mistaken, that is the title. That is a lot better in terms of story compared with the ones that I've mentioned before, because it's actually one complete story. It's a story when Jafar came back as a genie, and he wants to take revenge on Aladdin and Jasmine and the entire Agrabah. He wants to basically just it's a redo of the first movie, but it's a lot worse. Yeah, but yeah, that's it. But the third one, I think, King of Thieves. I don't think I have that one yet. I have that on digital, but I don't think I have the physical media copy of the third Aladdin. But I do remember watching that, and that's a lot better than the second one. So that's, I think, the worst of the Disney sequels, the direct-to-DVD sequels, and a lot of people say that all of the Disney sequels, they are bad, and I do have some other that I consider not really good. For example, the Tarzan 2 is one, but it's not as bad as the ones that I mentioned, and also The Fox and the Hound 2. They're not. Again, it's like Tarzan 2. It's not as bad as those previous ones, but still, it's awful. And for Fox and the Hound, it's super awful because I adore the first one, and the second one is just completely downgrade, or it's just plain awful, just disrespect to the original Fox and the Hound. Everything's just awful. But still, in terms of animation quality, it's a lot better than the ones I mentioned. It's on par with, if not better than, Milo's Return and also Cinderella 2. Now, it would be lying if I say that I hate all of the Disney sequels, the direct-to-DVD sequels, because I do love quite some of them. And perhaps the first one is that I already mentioned to you. It's also a sequel to a classic. Perhaps you can guess it already. It's over here. It's Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. I have that on DVD. Saying that this is good is just, I don't know, because I still think that this is not necessary. This is an unnecessary sequel to the classic Cinderella. And I do think that this will change people's perception of the original, because the ending of this one is not making everything back to normal. There's a twist in the story, and that's part of the title, also, A Twist in Time. But this one is very, very entertaining, and it is a decent continuation to the story. And if you want to make a cheap direct-to-DVD sequel, this one is how you do it. The story is complete. It's a one complete story. This is not a prequel. This is not a midquel. That's going to find that a lot in Disney direct-to-DVD sequels. But this is a true sequel. It's a continuation of the first story. And this one does skip the second one, because there are plot points in the second movie, Dream Come True, that is actually happen. That actually should happen after Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time. So if you want to watch Cinderella, I would suggest to watch Cinderella and then Cinderella 3, then to close everything, watch Cinderella 2, because it's just like, as I mentioned before, a supplementary episodes to what happened after Cinderella got married. And technically, she got married in Cinderella 3. So that is the first one, but not the best of the sequels. The second one that I do enjoy is Pocahontas 2. This might be a surprise for a lot of people, but I do enjoy watching Pocahontas 2. The story is more clear and more straightforward than the first one, and also it corrects, quote unquote, the history of Pocahontas, and the animation is not really bad. Again, just like Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, I don't think it is necessary, but still, if I must pick, Pocahontas 2 is one of the best Disney direct-to-DVD sequels. If they want to do it cheap and fast, do that, just like Cinderella 3 or Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World. Just the level of animation that they use for the sequel is just so much better than Tarzan and Jane and Belle's Magical World, or even it's better than Ariel's 2, The Little Mermaid. Yeah, the second Little Mermaid, which I also do not really like. Or even the third one, Ariel's Beginning, which is also one of the... I don't know, I don't like the third Ariel movie. But Pocahontas 2, I can enjoy watching the sequel to this 1995 classic. And then, what else do I really enjoy? I think I do enjoy watching the second movie of The Emperor's New Groove. That is Krong's New Groove. I have the video CD version of this one. I didn't bother to upgrade to DVD or to Blu-ray, but again, this one is bundled with Blu-ray, so that is fine. And I do like how they changed the title. It's not The Empire's New Groove 2 or something, it's just Krong's New Groove, so it can be a spin-off. You can treat this one as not a direct sequel to the second one, but a spin-off, so it differentiates itself from the original movie, and that is fine. I do find that's a good way to make something new out of your existing property, making it like a spin-off, not a direct sequel, so it will not really affect the first one. It's like it's different from Cinderella 3, that it really affects the first one, because the story in the third one is directly linked to the first movie, and it changed our perception, at least mine, to the original, because I know what's going to happen in Cinderella 3. That does not happen with Emperor's New Groove, no, Krong's New Groove, because, well, they changed the focus to Krong and the title to Krong's New Groove instead of The Emperor's New Groove 2. This one I actually enjoy, it's quite funny. And another one that I really enjoy is this one, Lilo and Stitch 2. I think the title for the second one is Stitch Has a Glitch or something. But yeah, Stitch Has a Glitch. That's over there, printed over there. So this one, again, the animation for Lilo and Stitch 2 is just really, really decent. I mean, it's not as good as the original, of course, but it is, it's really, really good. And the story is also very, very decent. It's a complete story again. And this is not just like a bunch of episodes that try to put together on a DVD release so they can sell and get more money and those things. But yeah, I do enjoy Lilo and Stitch 2. So Lilo and Stitch 2 is one of the best Disney sequels, direct-to-DVD sequels out there that I would actually recommend. And I also really enjoy this sequel. It's The Jungle Book 2. This one, I think, released in 2001. The one that I got is the re-release from 2008 to accompany the Platinum edition of the original Jungle Book. I remember this one when it was brand new and in the theaters because, well, some of the Disney direct-to-DVD release, they also got theatrical run. So The Jungle Book is one of them. The Jungle Book 2 was also released in select theaters, but I did not watch it in theater. I think my parents bought me a copy, a bootleg copy of it on video CD, and it was just like the old bootleg VHS or DVD copies from people using their camera to record the theater. So you can see the silhouette of people coming in and out of the theater and people laughing when something funny on the screen, people coughing, those things, you can see that. But overall, The Jungle Book 2 is just very, very interesting and a very, very entertaining. That's the most important part, entertaining sequel. I do admire the music and also the voice actors behind this movie. Just great. John Goodman, who was just playing James P. Sullivan from Monsters Incorporated, and also Haley Joel Osment, who was a very, very popular young, child star at the time after The Sixth Sense. And even I heard a rumor that Steven Spielberg, if he to direct Harry Potter, there's a consideration to have Haley Joel Osment as Harry Potter, perhaps in an alternate universe. That's the reality. The music, the cover for I Want to Be Like You in this version is just amazing, and also the animation is really, really good. And again, this is a direct sequel to the first one, so it's a complete story, not just a bunch of episodes put together for the DVD. So they got to work really hard for the second one, because this one also released in select theaters, as I mentioned before, so they can't just produce something awful for the theater audience. And now another one that I think was also released in theater and I really, really adore is the sequel to the 1942 classic Bambi. That is Bambi 2. I have the special edition over here, Bambi 2. This one is not really a sequel, not really a prequel, but this one is what they call the midquel. This happened in between of the, in the middle of the first movie, so in the middle of Bambi. What happened is just after, spoiler alert, Bambi's mother got killed, then Bambi's father took care of Bambi, and that's the highlight of the second movie, is the bonding between father and son, between the great prince of the forest and Bambi as the young prince. And I do enjoy this one, and this one also, I think, was released in select theaters, but yeah, the first time I saw it was on video CD. This is the DVD version. I would like to have the Blu-ray version of this one because this is just beautiful. I must admit, the sequel to Bambi, the midquel to Bambi, this one is just beautiful in terms of animation. It's just a wonderful, wonderful works of art. And I know that Andreas Deja was also involved in the making of this movie, and that's always great. I always enjoy the works of the Disney animators, artists who are working with the big Disney movies, Disney Renaissance films, and Andreas Deja is one of them, because I saw him in a lot of Disney documentaries talking about the process of making those movies, and so Andres Deja was involved in making this one, so it's got to be good, and it is a good movie. The animation is just wonderful. The voice casting is just wonderful. This one got Patrick Stewart play the Great Prince of the Forest, and Alexander Gold, who was at the time very famous after voicing Nemo in Finding Nemo. And the song of this movie is just beautiful, just beautiful. The song by Martina McBride is probably one of my favorite Disney soundtracks ever. So, Bambi 2. And what else that I really, really enjoy? There are a lot that I really, really like out of these Disney direct-to-DVD sequels. There's this Peter Pan, Return to Neverland, but I don't really enjoy that one, Peter Pan Return to Neverland. This one was also released in select theaters. I don't really like this one, but I do like the sequel to Lady and the Tramp, Lady and the Tramp 2 Scam's Adventure. Again, that does not mean I think this movie is necessary. It's just not necessary, but I do enjoy watching this movie, Lady and the Tramp 2 Scam's Adventure. Again, this is a direct sequel to the first one, so it continues the story where we left off in the first movie, and the story is complete, so it's not a bunch of episodes, unaired TV episodes. It's a full story of what happened to Tramp's son and how he learned that living a life with a family is the best thing, and not living a life as a tramp. He wanted to be like his father, Tramp. But yeah, and also I adore this version of Bella Notte at the end. It's a beautiful rendition of that song. So, Lady and the Tramp 2, Scam's Adventure, not that bad. Again, I don't mean that these are necessary, but if I must choose, this one is among the good ones. And what else? I already mentioned The Fox and the Hound 2. Many of them on the Blu-ray version, they're all on the double feature Blu-ray package, because if I do have them on video CD, I wouldn't bother to buy the DVD and wouldn't bother to upgrade to Blu-ray because they're not really good. But yeah, I do have some of them on Blu-ray, like this one is individual, because the price was just so good. It's a very good deal, so I decided to just, well, pick them up. Now I think the ultimate one is, I think it's the best, the ultimate best of all Disney direct-to-DVD sequels. It is, I think you probably already guessed this one. It is the sequel to The Lion King. The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. This is by far the best Disney direct-to-video or direct-to-DVD sequel. Again, this one is also a direct continuation of the first Lion King. There you go, the animation, well, it's not as good as the first one, but this is a lot more better than other Disney direct-to-DVD sequels. So I can really see the passion in the making of the second one, The Lion King 2. The voice casting is just great. They managed to have many of the original voice actors, and also the new ones were just as talented. The songs in this movie is just marvelous from first to finish. The opening one, He Lives in You, and then what else? There are so many great songs here that I really, really love it. I can't remember. The one with Simba and Kiara, he's explaining that we are one. That's the song, We Are One. That's also a great song, and the lullaby, Zira's lullaby, also great. And Upendi is very, very funny and wonderful. And my favorite, this is one of the most romantic songs ever, not only for Disney sequels, not only for Disney, but for the general sense of music. This is one of my favorites, is Love Will Find a Way. And the duet version that's in this DVD is just marvelous, just a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. And I must admit, I adore Love Will Find a Way a little more than Can You Feel the Love Tonight. I can listen to Love Will Find a Way over and over again. It's just a beautiful, beautiful duet. You know, both versions, the movie version when Kiara and Kovu sing together, and also the uncredited version. It's just beautiful one. And this DVD package actually has the music video on the second disc. Yeah. So I mentioned The Lion King 2, probably asking where is The Lion King 1.5, which in my country was called The Lion King 3, believe it or not. Well, I do have The Lion King 1.5 in this DVD, and also a complete DVD set of The Lion King. That's actually showing the title 3, The Lion King 3. So in some region it's called The Lion King 3 instead of The Lion King 1.5. The title makes more sense when this one is The Lion King 1.5, because it's not really the third adventure. It's just basically the first story being told through a different perspective. Yeah, so The Lion King 1.5 is a much suited, much better title to the movie, and also it's not really serious. When you read the title 1.5, you can tell that this is a comedy. When I purchased The Lion King 3 for the very first time and saw it for the very first time long time ago, I was so in love with The Lion King and also The Lion King 2, and I thought that The Lion King 3 would be as exciting as The Lion King 2, as a sequel. It's going to be a direct sequel to The Lion King, so continuing what happened in the second movie of The Lion King with Kiara and Kovu, and what will happen to the Pride Rock. Remember, this was the early 2000s. You can't really have the access to know all of the information about the movies. And before I watched the actual movie, I couldn't really know how it's going to be. I honestly thought that it was going to be very, very exciting and a direct continuation to the story from the second one, but it's not. Perhaps there's a reason why I don't think this one is one of my favorites, because it was such a letdown for me, because I had a different expectation for the movie because of the title. Perhaps if had they used the title 1.5, perhaps I would not having such high expectation for the movie, because look at the title, it's not as serious. So perhaps the movie is not as serious, and it's not, and it's funny. The movie is just so funny. It's just like, this is not what I expected from a Lion King movie. It's a good spin-off. I do enjoy watching the Timon and Pumbaa series as a child, and I wouldn't mind watching The Lion King, this sequel, as a child also, but giving the title The Lion King 3 is just not a good decision, or even The Lion King 1.5, and putting it in the line that making it as a trilogy, because in the trailer for The Lion King 2 special edition, they advertise The Lion King as a trilogy, and having The Lion King 1.5 within the trilogy is like, well, it's not really a trilogy. I mean, it's a 3-movie. Technically, it's a trilogy, but it's odd. I mean, I can't see it as part of The Lion King. It's just 1 and 2. Yeah, but that's why I don't really like this one. But it's not that it's a bad movie. It's a funny movie. It's a fun movie. The animation is great. It's a lot better compared to Tarzan and Jane, compared to Beauty and the Beast 2 and 3, and compared to The Little Mermaid 2. It's a lot better. But it's just that I don't really like it. But the story is solid. The story is like, it's a complete story. It's not just a series of episodes, because this one is just basically The Lion King, the first movie, but just being told through the perspective of Timon and Pumbaa, and they, throw a lot of funny moments in the movie. But that's it. That's my story with Disney sequels, the ones that I absolutely hate and the one that I love. Part of the reason why I love some of them is because I grew up watching them. Of course, I have a soft spot for them. As a matter of fact, I actually made a community survey in my channel, and asking people which one is the worst Disney sequels and the best Disney sequels, and I do notice a comment saying that all Disney sequels just awful and terrible. Well, perhaps, yeah. I mean, if we compare those to the original ones, it's not a competition. Those movies are not necessary. I mean, clearly they're just Michael Eisner was just making them to make a lot of money because they just want to capitalize the original movie from the get-go. But that's what we had at the time. But I still think that, now looking back with all that we have now with the Disney remakes and sequels, with the Mufasa remake, with Snow White remake, Pinocchio remake, all those remakes from Disney, that made me appreciate the Disney direct-to-DVD sequels a little more than ever before, because I can enjoy watching them like a lot more than watching the Disney remakes, the live-action remakes of those Disney movies. But that is just my story. Now, share to us what you think about the Disney sequels. Is there any title of the Disney direct-to-DVD sequel that you really, really love? Do you have any wonderful moments in the past, memories with, watching the Disney sequels, or perhaps buying the Disney VHS or the DVD when they were brand new back in the day? Feeling excited to watch the sequel to your favorite Disney movie? Or do you have a very, very negative opinion to this one? You can share it to us. But I think that is all that I wanted to share with you at this very moment. My story with the Disney sequels. If you're still with me up until this very moment, I sincerely say thank you very much. Take care and goodbye.